Earlier, and I'm gonna drink this tomorrow on an empty stomach. But earlier, I've been eating a lot of I was about to say pork. I've been eating a lot of protein because I'm working out. So
Eating a lot of meat.
No, I've been eating tuna fish. Pause. I've been eating tuna fish. Thank you. Y'all see? Y'all play with me. I've been eating a lot of protein, like just straight sets and then protein. Like
Protein is meat.
some tuna fish, and now the forest berry. Like this trail mix is dope. This is a high protein product I have in my hand right now. So that's it. But the juice, I like to drink that on an empty stomach. Like these real juices, yeah, you don't want food in your stomach. You want to drink that on an empty stomach. Faster absorption. Yeah, those little things are like, and $9 each. But when you think about it, people buy alcoholic beverages in New York. Average drink is probably about $14, right? You know? So, give it a price on the house. Oh, what? Oh, cocktail. Actually, average cocktail in New York is going to be at a decent spot. It's going to be at least $14 easily. Wow, $14 is cheap. At least. Yeah, $14 cheap. Yeah, exactly. I just did a minimum. Yeah. So do we have a conversation then? I don't know, man. I'm waiting on y'all. I'm sorry. Yeah, just to add in what I do like yo, what in New York? Oh, could you be quiet? The fuck? What I do like, we get a lot of liquor when I work there. What cocktails, we get a lot of liquor when we drink though. We do. Oh, I don't really drink. Yeah, I don't really drink because I don't drink like that. I smoke natural herbs, but I don't drink like that.
I'm smoking natural herbs.
I don't drink beer. I don't drink beer. Well, I drink stout. I keep a stout, man. I keep a stout on deck, definitely. Then it's for stamina.
Oh, man. I ain't that about it. I love getting stout.
Stop is I want to make sure I'm stop. You drink it in the morning for breakfast. It's an act up. There's different things. So you have Guinness stone, you have dragon stone. Oh, dragon with the red leg. They don't know about no dragon stuff, man. Come on. No. About dragon stuff. So,
I've never seen it before.
You got a queen. They got a see. Can I answer Sandra's? So Sandra Dragon Stone is in Jamaica we have something called Dragon Stone. It's similar to Guinness, but it's Jamaican made. DNG if I'm not mistaken. Dragon Stone, yes. Hey, y'all know my little three kids, man, they Don Julio, man. That's serious. Yo, that shit ain't on. Yo, Rob, that Don Julio? I think Dragon Pinky spinning some crap on it. Hey, you don't fuck with that Don Julio? Yeah, I don't drink. I think that's on the lowest shelf, right? Yo, that's Don Julio. Robert. That Don Julio keep you all night, Paul. That's a cheap nigga. Nah. Let me show you. Hold on, I'm gonna be right back. I'm gonna show you some stuff. I went to an activation recently. I went to a dope activation recently. I think I got some pictures from that event. You know, I know tequila is one of the few like pick me uppers. It's not a downer. That shit ain't. Omar. You trying to get the EMG? Nah, they don't Don Julio. They cash up you $100 to get some Don Julio, my nigga. You want to cash up you $100, nigga? Don't play me. Oh, you want to cash up you $100? That's right. I'm not going to do that. Right now. I'm going to take tolls right now. Meet me at El Camino. That's some shit. I like it. I mean, they got my favorite tacos here too. I fuck with El Camino. I switched to real man tequila. We got some good stuff there.
Yeah, I fuck with El Camino. That's my point. You get the tacos, that shit be flying, right? I get 3 tacos, I'll be good. They got an El Camino in Philly too. Yeah. It's right by my house. Yeah, right in what's that? Northern Liberties. Yeah, that's my shit, right? Yo, Dap, that Don Julio Dap, I'm telling you, man, yo, that shit, that shit crazy. I know about Don Julio, I know. Right, you get Rosado, like, Don Julio's still by himself. You gotta get the girl who's like on the stall, they won't bell on top of it. But the ceramic, yeah, I know what he's talking about. Yeah, that's a real job. It's still out called. I think I want to get a real OB, we'll get a real pepper. It's Jake. That's where I was at. I had a nice little cheese there. I went to the Jordan Molino joint. The joint was alright. The dice I use on the sandwich though. Nah. You go down that joint, you won't like that joint. That joint alright, man. He put real Cooper sharp cheese on that motherfucker. That joint alright. Where is that? Jordan Molino cheesesteak. It's in South Philly. Stop. Yeah, I'm gonna be in Philly for the first time in a week. Ready to go to I think you'll like Philly. You'll like. First time. Yeah, restaurant that Philly's if you Brooklyn's Bronx and Harlem together. What kind of vibe you want? Like, what kind of vibe you like? Are you a handshake? Are you a handshake nigga or you a taco seal nigga? Like I said, I know what I'm talking about. He is Philly nigga. Philly's if you put the Bronx, Brooklyn, and Harlem together. That's fair. I ain't mad. I'll send you some recommendations. Get back channel. I'm not going to say no. I think you might like the Reef. Like if you want to a joint that's neutral, you might like the Reef to make your own joint. You might like the Reef, you know what I mean? Cocktails and shit like that on South Street. Yeah, I mean that's something just a neutral spot. You know what I mean? I think I'm going to Jamaican restaurants when I travel. That wasn't even what I was considering. I was just like, okay. Something authentically Philly, you know what I mean? Like the Reef, I would say the Reef. Listen. Hey, listen. The Reef has been in Philadelphia for probably 20 years. That's most city at this point. Everybody goes there, you know, at one point, you know what I mean? So I would say, that's an authentic experience. Ain't nothing wrong with the Reef. You go to Pasadena's. It's like you're a tourist, you gotta go there. No, come on. Don't send them there. Come on, bro.
I love Philly. Shout out to Franklin Bills when I was 13. Get on it.
You got it, Coach. Yeah, I know about Philly. I know about me. I know about Philly. Right down the street from Temple. Yeah. Y'all remember the Omni back in the day in Philly? Y'all remember that? Y'all remember?
Philly has came a long way.
Yes, it has. We already been here. No, I want to hear that. We already been here. Up to that Mel.
I'm saying the streets of Philly.
Listen, I'm in New York more than Mel. Y'all don't listen to her.
Yo, shut up. Philly blunts, I heard that's for Philly stuff. Philly stuff. But where they come from?
Yeah, they say Philly got the real niggas. They say that's where the real niggas at.
Yo, Philly blunt.
I'm up to move now. That's it.
It's Philly stunts. I heard that's the Philly stunts. Where that came from.
They say, yeah, that's where the real niggas at. Yeah. JC, like, he got a bug. He got a bug.
Yeah, I gotta be clear to homework like this. Gotta keep me up now.
They love that.
No, for real shit. Yo, don't you work for the city? I heard you about to go on strike. Don't you work for the city?
No, what the fuck is worse? No, I work in New York.
Oh, my bad. I thought you worked for the city. My bad. They about to go on strike, though, man. It's gonna fuck up my
You travel? HK, you travel every morning?
3 times a week is a return to office call, but yeah, I mean 3 times a week.
Oh, you paid the truck station.
Yeah, that's not uncommon, man. That's not uncommon.
You don't remember back in the day, people moved to PA
Yeah.
for a 2 hour because they want less taxes. Right.
What is the name of that place again? Patio Mill?
Poconos, 1-800 Wild Ranch. Remember that? You want to go into the champagne room? The champagne room. Out here with bugs and flies and no stores.
Hey, not too much on Allentown and the Poconos. Not too much.
Yes. I know a lot of people, so I know a good amount of people. I know what people. How do you know what I do for a living? And so does JD. So, when I was younger, I know so much people my age that ran up to PA and New Jersey from the city to go and live, bought the house, did their thing. Whoever ended up getting separated, they have to stay in the house because it's cheaper to keep the person.
Yeah.
And then they waited until like how old I am now. Everybody getting divorced and they go their separate ways. People scooping up and starting to get up there in age. So people starting to, niggas have been working for like 25 years. They starting to retire. So yeah, that's what a lot of people I know that's going through. And yes, it's very cheaper to keep her. So that's what a lot of people's going through. And a lot of people, their house over there, they pick up value those shit. And I know a lot of people dudes be jumping on that bus for that 2-hour ride to come from PA to come right back to New York, sleep over their mother house, or even some of them.
No, they kept the apartments, remember?
Yeah.
What people did was they did the 1-800 Wild went for $445, $5, kept the apartment, rented it out to their little cousin.
Family, yeah. Florida too, yeah, that's a fact. Florida too.
That shit was funny. I remember that commercial. Because I was like, we should move to the Poconos. My grandma was like, I'm going to move to the Poconos. I'm not the
Mount Airy Lounge. Mount Airy Lodge.
That shit was funny. Them commercials in New York back in the day. Oh my God. You know what? When you live in New York, when I was growing up, I hated New York because I was living there. And then as I left, I mean, I don't like staying too long because people be begging and shit. But it's like when you leave, you realize like everything you miss. No city like New York City. No.
I miss New York. Yeah, when you miss people and you've been in New York,
It's not only the people, it's just like everything. Like you miss your convenience, you miss your food, you miss your trucks, your food trucks, your fucking like, even like when I get, what's up, goddamn, when I get my falafel sandwich, there's no place makes falafels like fucking New York. Nobody.
that's a fact.
I can visit New York. I love visiting New York. I can never live in New York. I can only visit.
New York gave birth to my first child, man. A New York woman, man. I will always since I was in Brooklyn, New York. Down to New York.
That's 17% of child support. You be getting on the side. No, I ain't getting on the side.
Yo, y'all New York women, y'all go straight.
When she served you with that position, you was like, fuck, 17%? Why this bitch can't live in PA?
She lives not actually, no. Hold on. Put that context. She actually lives in Pennsylvania. She went to Pennsylvania because he's a New Yorker. She's a native New Yorker.
Oh, okay. So when she took you for child support, she was already in PA. I get it.
Nah. She never did that.
You got Cheney girl. You got to step up on the woman.
Yeah, she Cheney girl. Yeah, it's with a Cheney, man. New Yorker. Coney Island. I got a Coney Island girl. And y'all know how hard it is to get a Coney Island girl. Come on, man. What are you talking about?
So you got you a hood rat?
Come on, it's Coney Island. You know, it's
Come
on, Pat. That's Coney Island. Come on. Hold on, sir. Hold on. lot of projects in Coney Island. There's a lot of high rise in Coney Island outside of the projects. So what are you saying? What part of Coney Island?
Let's be honest. Hey, Dad, let's be honest.
Was she in the projects?
No, she wasn't in the projects. Let's be honest.
She's not a real one now. Okay.
No, hold on. A lot of Brooklyn dudes, let's be honest, a lot of Brooklyn dudes wouldn't mind a Coney girl. I'll just leave it at that. That's all I'm saying.
They wasn't even going that far. Why they gotta go that far?
Hopping on the D train. Listen, they was hopping on the D train.
Ain't nobody wanna go on the D train. I used to take the D train. I used to live in the Bronx. I used to get off. That's the only thing they used to like, the one that was going to the Bronx, not the one that was on the island.
Contrary to popular belief, New York dudes, we do drive cars. We don't always hop on the train.
That's a fact.
If you're a body type of New York dude, you got a car. And females too. So hence why I asked you what type of dude, female was you dealing with. Because let's not try to act like there's nothing wrong with the projects. Because there's not. Because not everybody.
Of course not. I could talk about the projects because I live in the projects. Somebody else can.
Yeah, but
listen, let me tell you what you did.
There's nothing wrong with the projects. The projects didn't have all hood rat females and niggas at all. You have dudes that come from the projects. They were on their game. They did what they needed to do. They help out their family stuff. Females too. So I don't sit there and judge everybody that grew up in the projects of New York City because the projects in New York City have delivered some real grounded, strong people.
Yeah, New York is kind of different than like.
Patty, that's where she lived at. Y'all know Coney Island, right? She lived.
I've definitely been a hood rat. Once upon a time.
Listen. She lived right next to Seagate. And anybody knows what Seagate is?
Yeah, I know what Seagate is.
You
have Seagate. You have the Seagate co-op buildings. You have the Seagate project.
No, but you know the Seagate I'm talking about, though, not the co-op.
I just want to let you know there's more hood rats in the projects than no hood rats. Let's be clear. Okay.
Hey, yeah, I know about all the staircase games. I know about all of that.
Listen, man. They had a fucking Bel Air and everything. And they doing what it was.
You used to ride on the Cyclone.
Nah, I never did that with her. Nah, I never did that.
I did. You didn't even have money to take it to go ride the Cyclone. That's crazy.
Yo, I used to go there for
you was trying to hit off with the moon.
Hey,
that's crazy. You made that baby in the roof, I bet you.
It's a ride. The Coney Island has a boardwalk. Coney Island have like a little great adventures going on with it.
It's not great adventures. It's a bearded one.
No, I said a little. You heard what I said, right? A little. Okay.
Coney Island is a fucking carnival. Coney Island is a carnival. Remember the bearded woman? She was on that.
Yeah, I remember that.
Graphic, y'all.
Yeah,
She's been there since I was born.
Raise your hand if you cut school and go there after. Cut school and go there.
Is that kind of like Santa Monica Pier, like something similar to that?
Yeah, something similar to that, Gemini.
Yeah, but that we got.
Everybody used to cut school and go to the game room. Remember the game room in what is it? Times Square.
Yeah, I remember that.
Hey,
remember they used to have like the photos that you gotta take a picture. He takes a picture and it tells you how the baby looks. Right.
Oh no, that was before me.
Hey, but Mel, you know Brooklyn got bougie girls too. Like she's a bougie Brooklyn girl.
Oh my God, why are you talking about this baby? Nothing.
He's fucking with you. She bougie because she left to PA.
She changed my life, man. Changed my life.
She changed your life to make you.
She changed your life for the better. But you got with her.
You should have married her.
Look at that.
Nah, I wasn't thinking about marriage. Nah.
Go get your thing back.
No. She changed my life, man. On some real shit.
Miss Patty, when you get a chance.
That was in New York that did that. In New York.
That was the first lawyer chick you had, right?
That's exactly what it was.
I had some local loyal too, but I ain't saying all that.
Patty, did you hear me? I swiped out.
She heard you, Sandra. I'm not even being rude. Yeah, she heard you. Love. Yo, I remember, when this younger dude, he fell in love with this chick from Philly. She set him up. Some of the chicks, the New York chicks do, but it depends on the level. Just like Philly too, just like Baltimore. This dude got set up. He's a younger dude for me, but I'm Jamaican. He's Jamaican too.
The chicks from Philly are more ratchet. I'm just saying.
She set him up. He went out there to go look for her. He was doing his thing, and he was a good dude. He went out there. He went to Penn State, all of that. Went to some strip club. Now, to me, when I was talking to him, I'm like, be careful, because just because, strictly, what do you fall in love with a stripper for? Like,
I'm in love with a strip like you.
Yeah, like, what are you falling for a stripper for? So anyway, she did him dirty. They set him up. We had to go to Philly to go look at his body and all that. We took his mother and all of that. So, some of them, like in New York too, New York got them too. So, Baltimore, DC, yes, I lost a friend. He was very younger than me. I was a mentor to him. And yeah, he died. She set him up. They set him up. They robbed him of like 3 G's and some change. $3,000. This was in the late 90s. $3,000. You heard him? I'm going to say it again. 3 G's. It's not like it was like 50. $3,000. We lost him just because of some hood rat bitch that set him up for $3,000.
Yeah, I ain't never dealt with no hood rat, Jones. But my first baby mom was from New York City. Now my second baby mom, she was a Philly girl. She's like so Philly.
And what about the fifth?
Say that again. What you say, Patty?
What about the fifth and sixth baby mom?
Nah, I ain't got no 56. Come on, man. What are we talking about? I got 2 baby mamas that I have no beef with. Everything's good. So if he talks,
It's good now because they old, right?
listen, if you talk to a guy like Omar, you ain't gotta worry about no baby mama drama. He take care of his kids. He's good. You know what I mean? It's all.
So you're not paying child support in court. You're doing like
No.
you used to be. I'll pay child support to her. Yeah, exactly. Oh, yeah, things in the yard of.
Listen, what that? I ain't got nothing to do with me parenting. I'm still a parent. Come on, y'all. What are you talking about here? I still.
Me too. Oh, I didn't have baby mama drama.
He ain't got no baby mama drama because they old now. It's
I ain't got no
crazy.
baby mama drama.
I never did.
I never did. Like,
you
he was
lying.
younger. They didn't have no drama with him. Like, that's what that.
Because you was still fucking them.
No, listen. I always pick women that didn't have. They wasn't about the drama, man. They wasn't drama girl.
You never think about the two, that's weird.
Is the international council for you? They are looking for you right now.
They like you.
No, I'm not a drama. I'm not a drama.
Nah, you're not. You just a little ratchet.
Yeah, why y'all putting that ratchet term on me? Yo, that's crazy. Yo, that called me an ENJ nigga. Yo, that was crazy, man. That was wild.
What?
Nah, I said you called me an ENJ nigga. Yeah, that was crazy.
What do you mean, New Jersey? I never called you New Jersey, nigga.
No, I said ENJ.
Yeah, because you're trying to have an easy Jesus type dude.
Nah, I was fucking with you, Dan. I don't even fuck with ENJ, man. That was a long time ago.
See what I'm saying? And you stepped up to you see what I'm saying?
No. What I'm saying is that was when you like a fucking 18 drinking ENJ. Like, you know what I mean? I ain't drinking ENJ in damn near 15, 20 years.
Oh my, you went back to PA?
I'm in PA now.
So you already went back. You ain't in New York no more. I thought you were still in New York.
She was born and raised in New York. She went to
Mother freak, I'm talking about you. Stop talking about your baby mama.
I'm saying the high school she went to, Mel. Guess what high school she went to, Mel? high school with Spike Lee. The high school Spike Lee went to. Was Huey? I forgot how he was it. Yeah. I was with high school Spike. She used to always bring that up. Yeah, Spike Lee went to my high school. She always bring that up.
How old is she?
John Dewey.
How old are you, Omar?
No, me? I'll be 40, man, in the fall.
When your birthday?
Why don't you go to school with
When your birthday?
the school she went to?
Yeah, the school she went to.
No, I was saying.
You know how many schools in New York have people that was
No, I was saying, no. I said her famous person that went to her high school was Spike Lee. She would always say that. Spike Lee went to
Yeah, but she went to Manhattan. So, Omar.
No, she went to John Dewey. Who was it? John Dewey?
Oh, yeah, that's in Brooklyn.
Yeah,
Omar, you said your birthday in the fall. Your birthday October, November.
I'm an October baby.
He's a Libra.
No, Scorpio.
Oh, he's a Scorpio.
Your birthday, Omar.
October 23rd.
That's my fucking birthday, nigga.
No, don't say that, Dad. Don't say that. Yeah.
Omar, that's my birthday. We different years, but that's my birthday.
Yo, get the fuck out of here. You Scorpio, bro.
So he's claiming so you claim Scorpio for the 23rd?
Hold on, no.
Yeah, I claim that.
It was fucking the year I was born. It was a 20. I'm a Libra. But Omar, that's your birthday. That's my birthday, October 23rd.
Get the fuck out of here, Dad. Yo,
Yeah, but I was born in the 70s, though. I was born in the 70s, though. I'm a 70s baby, so we different. But October 13th, October 23rd on, what?
Now, but you know what, that Scorpios, they kind of like, they give that little, battle on, like,
Omar, you October 23rd for me. I can't believe we got the same fucking birthday.
Yo, that's crazy, Dad. Yo, that's wild.
So I did find a video, right, to talk about what to know about the Supreme Court decision limiting the use of nationwide injunctions, since everybody wants to talk on the subject and they're not actually understanding what it is. Are y'all cool with that? Did you talk about alcohol, what your birth sign is, like...
I'm good with that.
That's really good.
Patty, say that again.
I found a video that says what to know about the Supreme Court decision limiting the use of nationwide injunctions. Hopefully this actually explains what was said, because if you didn't listen to our oral arguments, you may not understand what the ruling was. Because people keep talking about other things that these nuances that is not part of the actual ruling, what they were arguing about. Hold on, hopefully this actually explains it. If it doesn't, then whatever. I'm just speaking headlines like the rest of it.
CBS News special report. I'm doing a couple in New York. We are coming to the year. It's the last day of the Supreme Court term with a groundbreaking decision from the court that could have a big impact on the arguments around and over birthright citizenship. The justices have just ruled on whether a single federal judge has the authority to issue what are known as nationwide injunctions that block federal policies across the entire U.S. That case goes back to a Trump administration executive order issued back in January to limit who can claim U.S. citizenship from being born, following being born in this country. Jan Crawford is our Supreme Court watcher, and she's at the court for us this morning. She's been reading this ruling, which came out just minutes ago. I understand it's a thick opinion. Jan, what does it say?
Well, first of all, Chani, I think it's important to just say right at the top, this is not an opinion about birthright citizenship, about the merits of that issue, about whether or not Trump's executive order is blatantly unconstitutional, as every federal judge says. So put that to the side. This is only a ruling, and it is, I agree with you, a major landmark ruling on whether federal judges have that power, one federal judge, to basically dictate policy nationwide by invalidating a president's initiative. This is not a partisan issue. This is something that's a recently new phenomenon we've seen in the last decade. Presidents, starting with President Obama, obviously the first administration, President Trump, President Biden, all have had to deal with federal judges blocking their initiatives and then implementing it in a nationwide manner. So this is a big win, not only for President Trump, but for presidents of any party, because what this means is what the court says in its 6-3 ruling written by Justice Amy Coney Barrett, dividing liberals along ideological lines. This is not how our system is supposed to work. Congress, when it established powers of the federal judiciary back in 1789, never intended for judges, one judge, to be able to basically set the rule for the whole country. We have an appellate system. They work through the system. That's how the system is supposed to work. So the justices in this ruling today are saying it's not appropriate. In most cases, it's got to go about the normal process. But there are ways to get nationwide relief, and the court says today, for example, people can file class actions where that can fatigue and 6 times of 2 eating habit, productive days, perhaps apply nationwide. The point is, this is about process, and you got to drive the right car to the courthouse. And here, they didn't do it the right way. So the court's saying, do this the right way, the way the system is supposed to work. That means that I strongly believe, Tony, that there is very little chance that this executive order on birthright citizenship will ever be implemented. We're going to see people right away next week come back, refile some of these cases, ask for class actions that could be certified across the country. There's a process with that. You will still have some of these injunctions in place. This is just narrowing them a little bit so that they only apply to the parties who filed these cases, not to everyone. So I think it's highly unlikely that this will have any practical impact on that birthright citizenship order ever being implemented. Tony?
All right, Jim, thank you very much. Let's go to our Justice Correspondent, Scott.
Okay, so I just paused it there, and I think Justice Correspondent's going to talk earlier. This is what we were talking about yesterday. Like, it's not about birthright citizenship, it's about the injunctions, which it does make sense if you do a class action lawsuit instead of taking a freaking individual lawsuit and trying to apply it nationwide. So I do somewhat agree with Amy Cohen-Barrett, even though a lot of people are going to be like, it's not about no Republican, Democrat type judge. I do like the question she asked, and if you listened to the oral arguments, her questions were like, it makes you think. So even though she got an F rating, but she worked for she worked for Scalesi. So she's a smart girl. Let me go ahead and go. Does anybody got any comment? Okay.
McFarland, who's been following this as well. Scott, these injunctions have been a tool of those who oppose President Trump's efforts to block them, to stop them. And now it seems like the injunctions will be limited in some way, but Jan says maybe the implications aren't going to be as broad as that might sound. What do you think the implications will be in terms of the relationship between the Trump administration and the federal courts?
And Tony, it's an important ruling, but it also comes at a uniquely important moment amid a multi-front battle between the administration and the court system, a legal battle and a political battle, too. First of all, the politics. The administration likes to be criticizing the courts. They like to have that issue to push forward their issues of the day, accusing the courts of overreaching and muting the desires of the voters who elected President Trump. The legal battles have been unprecedented, some of them potentially destabilizing to the balance of power. Just a couple days ago, the Trump administration in a novel case sued every federal judge in the District of Maryland, accusing them of overreaching with how they handle immigration cases. The Trump administration, Tony, is accused of not following a court order, also in Maryland, to return Gilmar Abrego Garcia, the man mistakenly deported from Maryland to El Salvador. And the battles are playing out all across the country. A legal showdown in so many places, Tony, between the Trump administration and the federal courts.
All right, Scott, thank you very much. Let's bring in Jessica Levinson. She's a CBS News legal contributor. She's also a professor at Loyola Law School. Her work focuses on constitutional law, election law, and the Supreme Court. Jessica, what do you make of Justice Coney Barrett writing this majority opinion? You know, a lot of people thought it was going to be John Roberts.
Well, I think it makes some sense given where she is on the court, and I think she was able, obviously, to command more than a simple majority, but a 6-3 majority. In your questioning, during oral arguments, I think you really heard her trying to make sense of this case and be very clear, as Jan said, that it was not about birthright citizenship. It's not about the merits. It's about the equitable power of Congress, and, of Congress to grant judges this power. And so she's saying very clearly, if Congress wants to change this, they can. She's also saying very clearly that when people walk into federal court now and they ask for relief of an executive order, they cannot get these universal injunctions anymore. Instead, courts are limited in the scope, the remedy that they can provide. They can provide a remedy of saying to the people who walked in, maybe it's an individual, maybe it's a group, maybe it's a state, maybe it's a class action, as Jan was absolutely correct to emphasize, that the court can give relief to those people. I think increasingly to your question, Tony, we're going to see Justice Barrett, who I think can speak to all sides of the court, have some of these big opinions, and it's important to listen to how she asks the questions in oral arguments. I think it gave us a roadmap for this opinion today.
All right, Jessica, thank you very much. I want to go back to Jen Crawford. Jen, you gave us a great overview of the majority opinion, but you've also been taking a look at the dissents in this case. You've only had a few minutes to digest it, but what stands out to you?
Well, I'm also getting information from Melissa Quinn, who is inside the Supreme Court, saying that Justice Sonia Sotomayor is reading aloud from her dissent. Remember, the 3 liberal justices dissented in this case, even though one of them, Justice Kagan, expressed extreme skepticism about nationwide injunctions when President Biden was in the White House. Now they're in dissent, and their dissent is really focusing on the issue of birthright citizenship and how this was the case that was really suited for a nationwide injunction. Remember, though, as I said, Tony, this has nothing to do with birthright citizenship. No judge that's considered that issue has ever said anything other than it's blatantly unconstitutional what President Trump's trying to do. And I do not believe the justices would ever greenlight that to go forward. So they're saying that this is the wrong case, that this case should have been one that could be a nationwide injunctions. There are a few cases, and that was kind of the point that Justice Kagan was making during the oral argument, that maybe there would be some case that would be suited for a broad nationwide injunction blocking a president's initiative. The problem with that, though, Tony, as other justices pointed out, is that every federal district court judge is going to think the issues before them are of extreme national importance. So it's not really going to have any impact at all. You have to do something with a little more teeth to it. For example, President Trump is now facing 40 or 50 nationwide injunctions in other cases challenging other initiatives that he has put out there. So I do expect, going back to something Scott was saying, I do expect the administration to file motions to vacate the scope of those injunctions and try to narrow them in all of those cases. And they may win some of this, but I'm just saying in the birthright citizenship case, I'm highly skeptical that this decision today will have any real practical impact on whether Trump gets to rewrite our understanding that citizenship is automatic when you're born in this country, if you're here legally or not.
You know, Jen, people turn to Supreme Court decisions for a definitive answer. I can imagine some viewers looking at the headline we have in the lower part of the screen that says injunctions likely exceed. What's the work that we're likely doing in that sense? Why don't we have a definitive does exceed or does not exceed?
You know, I'm looking through the opinion. That's a great question, and it's the language that Justice Barrett uses. I think the opinion itself is pretty clear. I think what we have to remember is there are ways that people can get nationwide injunctions. You just have to do it in the right car. You know, get in the right car. You've got to file a class action. You have to file. You have a claim under a different federal law where you're seeking to vacate an agency rule. You have lived near a factory and you file a lawsuit that's specific to you, the party, but then that helps everyone if the court says no more to the pollution. So I think likely means like let's scale back on these things. There are ways to go about doing it, and Justice Thomas and Justice Alito in their separate concurring opinion made clear that you've got to go and do it the right way, that it's important for the process. And so with this kind of cases, no. But, you know, we'll see. I mean, we've seen in some of these Trump cases, as you well know, Tony, that when lower court judges get cases back down to them, they don't always react the way I think the Supreme Court believe that they would react. But I think this was about as clear as you can get in this case.
All right, you're as clear as can be as well. Jen Crawford, thank you very much. Jessica Levinson, thank you. Scott McFarland, thank you as well. And just to recap for our viewers, the Supreme Court has ruled 6-3 that lower court judges cannot issue nationwide injunctions the executive branch has acted unlawfully, the answer is not for the court to exceed its own power too. But they did not rule on the merits of the constitutionality, the question of birthright citizenship. That is a case for another day. We'll be following that as well, of course. Our coverage of this Supreme Court ruling and others will continue on our streaming channel.
Alright, that's it. Hopefully that makes sense to y'all.
Thank you for that clip. So I guess they're going to be doing other EOs with this ruling. So they're going to go back and look at other EOs got struck down, and they're going to reintroduce those EOs again. Probably.
Yeah, but the only way I think the only way we get some type of nationwide injunction would be a class action lawsuit. That's why I was like, they're going to be basing it off of individual cases. So if someone sues because they feel like, oh, I'm trying to get my so like you know how Trump had certain states, he wanted them to like not recognize children that were born in the U.S. and were born here, and that individual sued. It's only going to apply to that individual. So if the state sues, it's only going to apply to that state. So it has to be some type of class action lawsuit that involves them.
Listening to some legal experts, and they were saying that now the cases simply have to be filed differently. They have to do it in a class action filing. And in this case, with this recent ruling, it only applies to the 22 or 23 states that were involved in this particular case that led to this ruling. So that's my understanding from what I was looking at.
Yeah, I'm gonna be honest with you. That ruling, I wasn't expecting this, man. I thought the Supreme Court was gonna be a little more wiser. You know, going by the arguments from last month, 2 months ago. I just thought it was. I was just like, wow. I was actually shocked to see this about the injunction.
But if you paid attention to the arguments, and you kept asking about individual versus class action versus state.
I mean, if you look at Sotomayor's little dissent there, she went off, man.
It was about birthright. It was about birthright citizenship.
Take the birthright out. Take the birthright out. Right. What I'm saying is, her overall opinion, you know, her dissent was like, that's how I thought it was when they went up. Listen, let's be honest. The Trump lawyers, they did.
You heard it already? But I haven't read it.
No. Listen, it came out. What you said? You know, some of her quotes and comments, right? What I'm saying is, when I actually listened to it, I listened to the whole 2 hours of the arguments.
That's the oral arguments. You said her dissent. I'm trying to figure out.
No. What I'm saying is the oral arguments of the Trump lawyers, I thought got ate up. I thought they did terrible. That's why I'm surprised that this injunction thing is going on. You know, that's just from my vantage point that they ruled 6-3. I thought, you know, the Supreme Court justice did their thing. You know, that's just my opinion.
So if they did their thing, you're surprised?
I'm surprised that I'm surprised that
those men weren't really asking any questions that men.
Yeah, and what was their thing? When you said they did their thing,
I mean, the thing when Ketanji Jackson was up there, when Sotomayor, when people that was asking questions, right? Trump lawyers was like, you know, it was very, I thought it was one-sided. I was surprised to see this 6-3 injunction. I'll be honest with you. As a person that voted for Trump, I
Okay. Not from the men. I thought the men were gonna fall in line. I might have thought, but when she gave us the roadmap. She did give us the roadmap during her oral arguments. Amy, but Amy asked some really good questions that does make sense, right? So did Jackson. So did Sotomayor. So did all the ladies asked really, really good questions. It was the men that I had an issue with. Freaking Clarence Thomas is a fucking disappointment. Every time they referred to him, he fucking moved around. Like, he didn't say shit. They had to go to someone else. Fucking embarrassing.
Yeah. But they never say anything much. He does never say much.
That's a snake. But, I mean, it was only a matter of time before we got to this, right? It was only a matter of time, and I'm sure there are other cases before the court. I mean, something's going to stick sooner or later, and they are relentless. I think I read somewhere, like, Mr. Trump, this is nothing new to him. I got some stats on how many lawsuits he's been involved with over the years. I think it's somewhere near like 14,000 or some crazy number. And this is what he does. This is the tactic that he does. He deploys and he fixes up the system. That's what he does. He tries to wear people out with litigation. That's what he does. He learned a long time ago how to use lawyers. And he stuck with it. He got the formula.
Yeah, but his lawyer was trash.
Oh yeah, they were low budget. Most of the that Clarence though, boy, man. Yeah, I know he has security. I definitely know he has security around.
I'm saying it again. I can't believe me and this nigga born on the same day, different year.
What day is that? What day was that?
October 23rd, where they both confused because they both got Libra and Scorpio inside their fucking body.
I'm not confused at all.
That's right in the cusp. So you have both of those signs in your body.
Do y'all realize
Oh, it's cold. Good stuff. I put some clothes on.
Well, you know, we come from different countries and cultures, so I get
Different countries have different cultures, so I get it.
And you guys realize that if this bill is passed, it doesn't go into effect until after it goes in right before we go before, November. Yeah, so those things are scheduled to take effect after the midterms. Yep.
But what happened to this Canada situation? Y'all was talking about Canada and I fell asleep.
What happened with Canada?
Something about he's going to implement some new tariffs or something right away in 7 days.
Oh, God.
Y'all didn't hear that?
To Canada?
Nah. I've been off the grid today. Yeah,
He pissed him off about something. Let me see. Oh, child. That's cold.
I found it, lady. It says new tariff quotas on steel mill products. Imports from non-free trade partner countries. It's going to be effective June 27th. Up to 2.6 million tons of steel imports. Imports beyond the threshold will face a 50% surcharge. And the reason why they're doing it is because they're doubling. So Trump doubled the U.S. tariffs to 50% on metals earlier this month. Many countries began redirecting their excess exports to Canada. Ottawa responded to prevent a flood of cheap foreign steel that could undercut its domestic market. They're doing this as a measure. This is the measure aims to stabilize market prices, safeguard jobs within Canada's steel sector. It's a temporary calibrated response.
Calibrated response to what?
Trump's doubling of U.S. tariffs on 50% on metals. So I guess with the metals, it's a 50% tariff.
Hey Matt, cool. Listen, somebody sent me a message about an hour ago. I'm just saying that. Clubhouse, if you're listening, at Clubhouse, I'm calling on you. I need you to hear me. This is First Lady C. And this anonymous thing is not working for us because we have this jackass that likes to go into people's spaces, have his camera loaded, people's pictures and stuff are out here on the web. It's not right. It just isn't right. I'm sorry. You gotta stop this shit. You gotta put a stop to this anonymous thing. Because recording people when they haven't advised that they can be recorded, it's not right. So Clubhouse, I know you're listening to me, and I hear you. But this guy, Edward, the one that calls himself God hypnosis and all that, he's gotta be stopped. The fact that he has about 1,200 accounts on Clubhouse is absolutely insane. The fact that y'all allow such security barriers to be violated like that because so many people have reported him and blocked him and you still refuse to do anything is absolutely atrocious. It is disgusting. Nobody should have to go through this.
So who does the nigga First Lady?
You can't even remove his ass because he's in here anonymous. He's a white man. His name is Edward. I can't remember his last name, but his name is Edward. But he goes by God hypnosis. He done changed his name so many different times. I don't even know where he's doing.
He's recording right now. He's in the bottom.
Yeah, he goes everywhere and records. Go close his room today because that is just everywhere.
Clubhouse really needs to take responsibility and get this joker out of here, or let the anonymous thing go so that we can block people out of spaces that we don't put them in. It's not right. They're not using it. They're not using it the way yeah, well, it's one of them. Or, knowing him, he might have two of them. He might just have two of them streaming right now. I don't know. But I just don't like the fact that, you are taking, this is not no recording. It's one thing for Clubhouse to record because for quality and safety and purpose and things like that, and you have it into a vault. But for somebody to be able to stream and monetize on somebody else's content it's insane. I'm not going to use profanity, but it definitely is insane.
He must have had a field day with today's room.
Hey, First Lady, I don't know if you saw, I'm just curious. Sarah